the way to determine the severity of cirrhosis is again echography associated with elastography, with a machine that is called a FibroScan that measures the pressure that the sound waves encounter in going through the liver. So this is a regular standard measurement of fibrosis or cirrhosis. This value, 16.3 kilopascal, classified in the most severe group of cirrhosis. So this patient in 2010, so about 3 years ago, he had severe cirrhosis due to the chronic hepatitis B that he knew to have. Then he began injecting first immune Gcmaf. Later on, he began to associate food-based Gcmaf to his treatment. These are the latest exam of October 2012 that he communicated just 2 days ago, where the FibroScan went down to normal level and the DNA for the hepatitis B virus was undetectable. So here we can safely state that there has been eradication of the viral infection, but to me as a radiologist, it's more important to observe a complete reversal of liver cirrhosis, which is something that is not frequently observed. This is the signature of the doctor. I removed his name for privacy reasons, but these are, in my opinion, very, very interesting results that open new possibilities for this type of integrated approach, because I've never seen such a reversal of liver cirrhosis in such a short time with any other available treatment. And I think that now I can proceed with the acknowledgement to thank all my research group. They are here in this room. Here we are at the echo machine, ready to perform an examination. And I thank you very, very much for your attention. Thank you. The nagalase goes down independently of, in autistic children, independently of whether its level were extremely high or not. So my answer is yes, because there are some of the effects of Gcmaf that go well beyond its immunotherapeutic effect, and Dr. Bress's paper cleverly demonstrates this. So I would say nagalase, of course, has to be part of the assessment, but not the only one index to take into consideration.
For your in vitro evaluation, such as reversion of the phenotype of human breast cancer, do you have chance to see the effect of the inactive precursor, like GC-Pro?
I beg your pardon, I didn't hear the last part of your question.
In your in vitro evaluation, do you have chance to use the inactive precursor, such as GC protein, as a control?
Of course, always, always. Okay. When I say control, I don't mean pure water. We always use the inactive precursor, every time. I didn't go into these experimental details, but of course otherwise the papers would have never been accepted. We always use as a control the same identical amount of GC protein. Actually, Dr. Murucu, who is just in front of you sitting there, will show you the details where GC protein is part of the experimental protocol, and when we say the Gcmaf does this or does that, we always compare not to no addition, but to the addition of the same identical amount of GC protein. Yes, please.
What diet do you recommend for the nutritional basis for Gcmaf? Ketogenic diet, paleo diet, vegan diet?
That's a very tough question. First of all, please remember I am a molecular biologist and a radiologist, but not at all a nutritionist. There are nutritionists here who are much better qualified than I am. What I would say is, whatever diet improves the Pini score. So I don't care whether you eat meat or fish or whatever else, but as long as your Pini score goes down, this will increase your lifetime, expected lifetime, the expected prognosis. But again, I know that my answer is very generic because I'm not a nutritionist. Here I'm simply saying that if you do not take into account the proper nutritional status, you cannot expect great results.
Would you expect any negative effect from the ketogenic diet, having a lot of ketones? That's what I'm using at the moment.
Honestly, any answer would be inadequate on my part because I have no experience on this. I think we can take one or two more questions and then proceed, otherwise we...
I came all the way from Vienna to ask this question because I didn't get a response on my email to you.
I'm sorry.
If you look at the medical literature, you will find that about, I'm an immunologist treating cancer patients, you will find 1,041 papers describing the macrophage polarization into class M1 or M2. I spent the whole week on reading all the Gcmaf papers, and there's nothing, I report nothing on this, I think, very, very important question. So I would urge you in your laboratory, I don't have that laboratory, to really follow up on that question, because as we know, when macrophages infiltrate the tumor microenvironment, we know that the class 1 macrophages are tumor cytotoxic macrophages, whereas class 2 macrophages actually have a more protective mode. And the inflammatory cytokines which are being secreted by all the cells making the whole tumor microenvironment are of utmost importance to decide on the macrophage polarization. So I was really surprised that you have a molecule called macrophage activating factor when nobody thinks about what is happening with this. And if you look at these papers, I think it is one of the most important questions we have to ask and answer in such conferences. Thank you.
I thank you, and I apologize for not having answered your email because usually I answer all emails. Your question is very up to the point, and it will be solved now that we have elucidated the molecular mechanism of action, because now it will be simple. We can run a microarray, so to see which genes are expressed and which are not in response to Gcmaf in any cell type, including macrophages, now that we know which molecular of action is at work. So we can see whether Gcmaf will shift one type toward one type or the other of macrophages, and we will see if it has a different effects in tumor-infiltrating macrophages or in other types of macrophages. This is something that certainly has to be done, but could not have been done until we had solved the puzzle of how does Gcmaf work at the molecular level. So this will be the next step. I beg your pardon, Michael, there is a lady over there, and I think we have to give priority to ladies.
Just want to know, you're saying that this is affecting the brain movement. What about if you've got a patient that has got epilepsy? Does that affect?
We have no idea, and I didn't say that Gcmaf in itself affects the brain movement. What I said, and tomorrow we're going to detail, showing you, if you wish, your brain moving, that we can now monitor brain movements through echography, which is easy and simple. And we see that in many conditions, neurological conditions, like in multiple sclerosis, these brain movements are reduced, which is a kind of logical. Now, the idea is that if we can monitor these effects, and if Gcmaf does something in multiple sclerosis, as it appears to do, then we can monitor these by measuring and monitoring the brain movements. I have no clues, I have no answers about epilepsy, so I cannot give you an answer at this point.